On December 6th, something unusual caught my attention in Arizona mountains. When I saw this, I needed to know the scale of this, so I put my foot inside of it so you could see. And I wear a size 11 and a half, and I barely feel the heel of this.
But you can see where like the heel was at too. It's like right there. And then when you look straight ahead, this all is where water used to flow at. And I'm like out here in the mountain. Santana Mountain. This is wild.
So what happened here that could have caused this? Erosion? Volcanic uplift? Or something stranger?
And in history, sometimes you will see that the rocks have these stains in them.
Not just anywhere, but in specific layers, like something happened here a long time ago.
And then the red.
This entire mountain range you're looking at was pushed up from deep beneath the surface. So there's a geologist in the area. His name is Sean Wilsey. Let's see what he has to say about these rocks.
This is the Santan Mountains, and explain a little bit about the rocks that we see in these mountains.
Yeah.
They're really old, intrusive igneous rocks. So these were either magmas that cooled and solidified slowly underground, or else these were metamorphic rocks that were squeezed and heated at depth.
So if something stepped here before the rock hardened, it could leave a shape.
Look at this. I'm in the Santana Mountain now. Look at my foot right here. So that looked like the top of the feet part. It looked like they stepped the foot, and you can see where like the heel was at.
I'm not saying that this is a footprint, but it resembles one. So I went deeper down in there around the surface area so that we can get a better look at what we're seeing here.
Where is it at? Right here. When you put your foot next to it, it becomes more apparent.
I see what you're saying.
When me, my woman, and my dog originally found this, we didn't go on trail. We went downward around the area. And when I saw this, my reaction was that if this was a foot, this belongs to something much larger than us. It's like a shoe. Instead of it being open toe, it seems like this would be very hard to just naturally create this with such distinct features from just erosion alone. What makes this area even stranger is the lights that locals saw in the sky recently. Something is happening above and below this area. Even the top news agency in this area are letting you know about folklore, and locals at Santan are saying they're hearing steps with no human rhythm to it. And when the creature shows up, they smell rotting meat and mildew. They claim this is what they saw, so maybe something unusual is happening. After investigating all of that, the question that still remains is, how do we know what left this potential footprint here? We don't, but we can look for evidence. So the next big thing is, why is there one footprint? And what I went to do next is to look around the landscape for the second footprint, because this could give us an even bigger detail if I could find it. So eventually I came to this large opening where it went way up, it elevated. It felt like this was a pathway of broken stairs for one point, but you can tell water eroded through here. The first footprint I found was in a water eroded like area. So let's check this out.
Nothing really, just more going up, and it's the same rocks going all the way around.
So after looking around for the second print in the ground, I came to the possibility of what could have happened. Since I didn't see this years ago, this area was very different. Water was moving through it, lava, and there was pressure. Volcanic mud, all this different thing. The sediment layers could have covered up the second print, but there's still something else we still need to look for. Is there a possibility that this could be man-made? And for the people who are asking that question, the reason why that wouldn't make sense is because This formation is deep within the rocks. So therefore, it was embedded there thousands and thousands of years ago before anybody could even think about putting something down there to create something man-made. And the edges of it was very smooth. It wasn't sharp. We could see openings underneath the areas as well where the foot potentially was at, or you think it's just erosion. But it was openings like holes where you can see the water could even go through those areas too, from the imprint sitting there so long. So because when we look at some of the footprints, I noticed that there isn't these holes formulated underneath the area. And so that means that the water could have been penetrating the rock for a very long period, meaning that much more than potential timelines that we know of. Here's how we're going to get other answers. I'm going to send video to Sean Wilsley, the geologist, so we can have a deeper dive on this. But if you are a geologist, archaeologist, any of that, in the comment section, we want to read your comments on what you think about what we've just come across. And here's what struck me when I saw certain things here at this mountain. But switching the context to ancients believe, not that this is the case right here. So in some ancient traditions, people believe that the red stains in certain rocks were blood of giants, not because they had scientific proof, but because they were trying to explain the world around them. Today, we know that iron oxide mineral staining and pressure can release these deep red patterns in stone. But it's fascinating how geology and mythology describe the same places in different ways. So everywhere I've studied where we see some unusual activity, maybe these prints, there also is a gold connection there, and then underground tunnels where mining was happening.
This is a mine in San Diego, Arizona. Let's go in.
And yes, Santan has gold at it, but there's another thing that we need to be asking as the world starts to shift. Why is unusual activity when it's seismic activity? Sometimes ancients believe that it was due to some creatures, and now we see these footprints by volcanoes. And not only do we see footprints by volcanoes, we see these like orbs and all these things flying next to volcanoes. Just recently at the Mexican volcano. What is it really? These are some type of gateways, or the activity spikes, and this is like another realm. Two large structures was found under the topography that symbolized something that looks close to mountains. It was about 1,250 miles beneath Africa and in the Pacific. Scientists still don't 100% understand everything that is happening here, but we're talking about another world beneath us. All throughout history, there was times when the earth changed and everything around us started to follow. And that's where we are once again. So things start surfacing from beneath us, just like the strange volcanic blue goo that is showing up, life forms that they don't understand anything about. We've hit a period once again to things are now coming to the surface. Whatever is in the dark will come to the light. And that is a scenario that we are living right now. All these stories, all this activity leads us all back to one place.
Look at this. I'm in the Santan Mountain. I promise you, this look like a foot.
One impression in stone. People have found gold in mountains all around the world. Red stains that look like blood. Underground tunnels and strange lights over ridges. Ground moves in these places. The sky changes. But the most unusual thing is right beneath our feet. Something pressed down into stone. What makes us just a little bit shaking for me is that a lot of people who go to these mountains and stuff, they tell these stories about what they see or, what showed up, and all of a sudden they have authorities visiting them and then they're disappearing from the internet. And I think that some of them are playing like this character that they are in trouble, but I do believe it's a small percentage of them that were in trouble. So I just want to say right now that I'm doing this for legitimate purposes of us as public investigating this knowledge.
Used to flow at, and I'm like out here in the mountain, same thing mountain. This is wild. Like, look how the size of it, and it does look like a foot. Tell me it's done.
Maybe it's ancient, maybe it's natural, maybe it's just something we don't understand yet. But one thing is for sure, the land remembers. And if you got this far, you need to subscribe because we have more investigation to do here next. But don't miss what I've already put out that most of you are not seeing. Highly important information. Go watch it now.